Backstory. I, 23 female, have two sisters, Jenna, 25, and Summer, 19, and a brother, Jason, 22. My parents also took in a family member, Rachel, tween, a few months ago. Rachel has been through some crap. She doesn't talk, she never lets go of this little stuffed elephant, and she follows my mom everywhere. She can't go to school yet because my mom and her therapist agree it would be too much for her. Rachel is the sweetest kid ever, though. She's always down to cuddle and watch a Disney movie and has the cutest smile. I was even allowed to touch her elephant the other day. Jenna has always been a pretty complex person. She hasn't lived at home in a while. She moved out for college, back home for a few months, then moved in with her boyfriend, now fiancé. My parents have been using her room as a guest room, but they never changed anything about it. Rachel has also been staying there. My parents are going to adopt Rachel, and they want to turn Jenna's old room into Rachel's new room. So they told Jenna they were turning her room into Rachel's room, so she needed to come and go through her stuff and decide what she wanted to keep and what she wanted to donate and throw away. Jenna said they could find another place to put Rachel, and she's not giving up her room. My parents said they already decided, and Jenna made an ultimatum. Either our parents keep her room the way it is, or she goes no contact. My dad and I packed all of Jenna's stuff into boxes and put it in an empty garage. We painted Rachel's new room, put together furniture, and filled the closet with new clothes and toys. We even built a snack bar. Rachel loves it. She's starting to stay in her room. Before, she'd only go in her room if she needed to change or sleep. And I'm pretty sure I heard her talking to her elephant. Not as good as talking to a person, but we'll take it. The problem is now Jenna and my parents are in a huge fight. Jenna went no contact and uninvited my parents from her wedding. In retaliation, my parents announced that they wouldn't pay for half of the wedding anymore and wouldn't pay the down payment on a house for Jenna and her fiancé, their wedding present. This has caused Jenna to call them abusive and neglectful to anyone who listens. I was supposed to be her maid of honor, but I couldn't believe she was acting like this, so I dropped out of the wedding party. Now Jenna's even madder, and her fiancé saying the entire family is cruel to her. So, am I the idiot for dropping out of the wedding party? Not the idiot. You're standing by your family. Wow, your sister's entitled. She thinks your parents are neglectful for not buying her a house, paying for her wedding, and giving her unused bedroom to another child when she chose to go no contact. Did they take away her pony and diamond earrings too? You and your parents sound like lovely people. Rachel deserves to have the kindness and stability you're all offering. Your sister's nuts. She's moved out and is getting married. Her room is no longer her room. Going no contact over this? Wow, your sister's a narcissist, and it's better if you all remain no contact. When she has kids, she'll see them as a way to blackmail you guys into doing things she wants. Jenna sounds insufferable. I suspect the experience of being her maid of honor would be the same. Save yourself the agony. Good for your parents for not giving in to her ridiculous demands. Good luck to her fiancé, LMAO. So, your sister, who's engaged, lives with her fiancé, has plans to buy a house, and is therefore supposedly a fully functioning adult, wanted your parents to leave her room unchanged in the house she no longer lives in? Is she so narcissistic that she doesn't see how ridiculous this is? Or does she subconsciously think her marriage will fail and she needs a place to fall back on? The room belongs to your parents, not her. She did your parents a favor by going no contact. And not only that, she expected the gifts even after going no contact with them. So I would do the same to her. I, 56 male, have a daughter, Shelby, teen female, who washes her hands a lot. I recently thought that incentivizing her water usage would be a good way to reduce it. For context, our friends and family spend about $70 on water per month, and we spend about $180. I told Shelby that the water she uses is often wasted as she blasts the tap at full and doesn't even have her hands under them. She just scrubs her hands next to them and leaves the tap running. I told Shelby I'd rather spend the money on other things like food, gifts, etc. A few days later, I told Shelby that any money she saved by using less water, I would spend on her. That was about a year and a half ago. Since then, we've saved a total of almost $1,500. About a third of this has been given to Shelby as spending money, and the rest was invested. The invested money has gone up a lot, and I was proud, so I mentioned it to Shelby over breakfast. My wife butted in and asked if she could have half for spending money. I told her no because it's intended for Shelby to use for college or her future. My wife Tara, 44, got incredibly angry, saying she's part of the family and deserves my investments and money. She said it's not fair that Shelby gets money that should be shared. I told her she doesn't pay the bills, so I can do what I want with any savings. Tara then changed to a different argument, saying I was messing with Shelby's therapy by trying to change her rituals. I've spoken to Shelby's therapist, and she said incentivizing Shelby to wash her hands less will aid her treatment, OCD. I told Tara she didn't care about Shelby's treatment and was just after the money. She got angry, saying I accused her of being a gold digger. I never said this. She has her own job, and we get paid similar amounts anyway. She's angry at me, and Shelby's worried that she's caused an argument. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You're literally helping your daughter with her OCD and her future, and your wife is angry she can't use the invested money? You're doing amazing, OP. Your wife, on the other hand, did act like a gold digger. Reading this, the first thought I had was, is she your daughter's mother? Ignore your wife and continue helping your daughter. She is Shelby's mother, and they've mostly had a good relationship. So I do not understand why she wants to take money from Shelby to help her set up her life when she's older. I mean, I think it's weird, but regardless, this is what you came up with, and your daughter's therapist says it's good. Then keep going. It sounds like your wife is bitter that Shelby has some extra money and she doesn't. You made the deal and you need to honor it. Since you and Tara make about the same amount of money, but only you pay the bills, she does sound like a gold digger. My ex-girlfriend, 24 female, and I, 24 male, broke up a little bit over 2 years ago. 1 year before our breakup, we adopted a dog, Bean. I'm not gonna lie, we were kind of crazy pet owners. He was like our kid. Our breakup was mutual, and at the end, we were more like friends or roommates than a couple. The hardest part was figuring out what to do with Bean. We both wanted to keep him in our lives, so we decided on an arrangement to please us both. She has a bigger garden and she often works at home, so she has him most of the time. I often go on hikes during the weekend, and she has to travel for work once a month, so I have him at least a week each month and on the weekends. I have the code to the gate of her garden, so when it's my turn, I just go and get him. Her brother's one of my closest friends and I hike with him, so during the weekend, he's the one getting him. If we talk, it's mostly to give a small update about our families. We've known each other since we were 15, and the dog. I know this arrangement is unusual, but Bean is our dog, and right now we can't imagine not having him in our life. 6 months ago, I met Anna, 25 female. She's now my girlfriend. She's never complained or said anything about how things work with Bean. This Monday, Anna came over to mine. It was just a casual evening, night together. Around 10, my ex called me in tears. A neighbor came in the afternoon to deliver something, and she forgot to close the gate. When my ex came back, Bean was missing. She told me that she and her boyfriend looked around but couldn't find him and would call more people to search for him. I told her that I was coming. I asked Anna if she wanted to go, but she refused. When I arrived at my ex's place, a few people were there to help. Her boyfriend, her brother, the neighbor, and her family and some of our friends. It took us over an hour, but we finally found him. He was fine. We took him home and I gave him lots of hugs, said bye, and left. I came home and Anna was already in bed. When I tried to talk to her, she told me she was tired and didn't want to talk. The next day she was cold and barely talked to me, but after work she called me to talk and kind of exploded on the phone. She said that I left her to go with my ex and that she was hurt. She said I chose to spend the night with my ex and our friends rather than her. I tried to explain that I only went because of Bean, but she refused to listen to me. According to her, there were enough people to find Bean, and my ex didn't need my help. This is true, but he's still my dog, and it's my job to be here for him. Even our friends came to help. I want to add this is the only time that something like that has happened since we broke up. Honestly, I don't know what to think. In my mind, I did the right thing, but Anna said that I neglected her. My friends don't get along well with her, so if I ask them, they'll be biased. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You invited her to come and help you find the dog. She declined. If she had gone, she probably would have seen this event for precisely what it was, not whatever she's invented in her head. I'm with you on this one. I can't imagine canoodling on the couch, knowing my dog was missing in the dark, and I probably would have been a bit miffed if my ex hadn't called me. If your girlfriend thinks leaving for 1 hour at 10 p.m. on a Monday to find your missing dog when you invited her to come help is neglect, she's got issues. Bean is your dog. Of course you'd go look for him. I can't imagine any pet owner who wouldn't drop everything to go find their pet if they were lost. Girlfriend giving you the cold shoulder the next day indicates a bunch of insecurity and codependency issues that she has that don't have anything to do with you. It would have shown up somewhere else if it wasn't for this one incident. I'd suggest giving your girlfriend some space and letting her calm down for a bit, but be aware that this should be a warning to you. You are the idiot. So is your ex for calling you to come to the rescue. Sorry, this seems like it's about a dog. It isn't. It's about boundaries, unresolved relationships, and control. The ex's relationship is not over, and they're both using the dog as a reason to stay in each other's lives until they can reconcile or get over one another. My female 24, brother Adam 30, met a single mom 32 from Latin origins, Michelle, a year ago, and they recently got engaged. We only met her a few times, but he brought her and her son over for dinner on Sunday. The family and I didn't know much about her, so after dinner, we talked to her about her personal life. She told us she only had a high school education/degree. She said she always wanted to go to college and obtain a degree, but said it was so hard to do. I found that a bit cliche, especially after she started complaining about the lack of opportunities and resources. I told her I disagreed because colleges give all kinds of options and scholarships, and that the real reason she couldn't go to college was that she was a mom and had to raise a kid. She stared at me silently, looking offended, then asked if I was implying that her decision to be a mom ruins her opportunities. I told her only she could answer this question once she looked at her life to see if she was really happy where she is versus where she could have been without the whole struggling mom thing. She got upset and told me that she was happy with her life and her job at the salon, and said that she didn't appreciate how judgmental and condescending I was towards her and her child. Adam heard the commotion and asked me what was going on. She told him and decided it was time to leave. She couldn't even wait or say goodbye. She took her son and went to wait in the car. Adam chewed me out, saying it was none of my business how she's living her life, but I explained that I was stating an opinion, nothing more, nothing less. Mom sided with them, saying that I was out of line, rude, and ridiculous, but my younger sister said that Michelle was being too sensitive and she could get over herself already. Adam left, and then Mom called him in the evening the next day, then came into my room to yell at me, saying I made Michelle cry with what I said. Now Mom wants me to apologize, but I'm not sure whether I was out of line here. It's quite clear you look down on her for being a single mom. You think that having a child destroys someone's life and opportunities, and at the same time, assume she uses that as an excuse for not bettering herself with a college degree. You insulted her, her child, and her way of life. Did you really expect her to say goodbye and be all hugs? You are the idiot, and you're mean. You said it perfectly. OP is 24, but the way she talks sounds like an entitled teen. But hey, who am I to judge? Maybe OP's mom also feels like OP ruined her life opportunities. OP, seems like your college degree didn't help you at all with basic human interactions. Imagine wasting all that time and money on getting an education and still behaving like a complete ding-dong. Come on, paying for college yourself, even without a family to support, is nowhere near as easy as you and your privileged little self-righteous lecturer are making it out to be. How many people need to tell you you're being an idiot before you'll admit you're being an idiot? To put it bluntly, you basically said, well, you got knocked up, so it's your fault you couldn't go to college. It's a rude and ignorant thing to say, and can be very hurtful to her and her son. What would it have looked like if you had encouraged her to find a way to go to college? It's not too late. Much better than the ill-considered judgmental rudeness you served on a platter. Is it possible that your real issue is with Michelle being Latina? You mentioned this irrelevant information early in your story. Gee, she deserves an apology without a doubt. My 28 female, fiance Kyle 24 male, got engaged earlier this year. After, we immediately started looking at venues. Finally, we found one venue that was perfect for us. It was reasonably priced and covered all aspects of the wedding, except for the photographer, so I would have a little to plan. In addition, the venue had a September date for this year that we wanted to pick since the immediate family was on board, and everything seemed to be falling into place perfectly. I was texting my bridesmaids to let them know what was happening, and one of them, Amber, said she had a music festival the weekend of the wedding and said I couldn't pick that weekend. The only other dates they had were either starting next year in March or in October, and the October date falls on my late father's birthday. When I told her this, she said, well, that just gives you more time to plan. But the venue was covering practically everything planning-wise, so I went back and forth, and after long talks with my family and friends, I decided on the September date. I didn't want to put my life on hold and delay buying a house and moving in with Kyle because Amber couldn't attend. When I told her, she told me she needed some time to think before she said something she would regret. I got a text a week later saying she was upset and hurt, but she hoped I was happy on my wedding day. She's not been in contact with me after that, despite me trying to reach her several times by call and text. We've been friends since elementary, and I'm just wondering, am I the idiot for scheduling a wedding, even though I knew one of my friends couldn't attend? Not the idiot. You can't put your life on hold for someone attending a music festival. If she can't understand all the moving pieces, that's on her. And her nerve to just say, enjoy your wedding, shows how she's not thinking about the bigger picture here. You don't just tell someone that moving something back for one person will give them time to plan something. That's incredibly selfish of her, in my opinion. You just found out the hard way that she's not really your friend. I'm sorry, but obviously you don't mean that much to her if she's doing this to you. I hope the music festival is worth it to her. A real friend wouldn't even think twice. I don't think that's fair to the friend. Most weddings are planned a year plus in advance, not like 6 weeks ahead. And it's possible she's invested a lot in attending the music festival. When you plan such a rushed event, you run a greater risk that it won't work for everyone. You are the idiot, OP. I'm sorry. So, you mean that OP should schedule her wedding at her friend's convenience? A good friend would have said, hey, I have plans that I don't want to drop, so I wouldn't be able to attend. I wish you all the best and enjoy your special day. A good friend would never try to dictate when you schedule your wedding. The wedding is about the bride and the groom, not a friend who prefers to attend a festival.